Okay, so hi, this is my third blog, and today was like not so stressful, kind of. So I think I'm going to tell you all about it. Okay, so I was like kind of stressed because I'm like stressed with the school and things like that, and then I talked to my mom, and like, okay, I'm going to do like a little resume of my day. So at first, I had like exams and things like that, and I was like really stressed out because I don't know like what's going on with my life. Like I don't know if I want to like continue studying like university and all that, because I think the academic load that we're having is like it's not a lot, but after all the years studying, I don't know, my brain kind of thinks it's a lot. So I don't know, I'm like tired of school and stressed. So today I had that. Then I talked to my mom. I was really, really stressed. And then I talked to my mom and I was like, I'm really stressed about school because my mom doesn't live with me. So we were talking about that. And she was like, there are more difficult things. And that made me think about like, this assignment and the questions that are in like about the connections between being a teenager that Anne has had to experiment on this. And also today I was with my boyfriend um like in the afternoon. So I was like, okay, yes, like this has like a lot like to do with like what we are seeing in class because uh even though being a teenager is not the most difficult part of life, obviously, I know that I have a kind of privileged life. I am, not in war. I have a home to live. I have food to eat, and all of that things. Uh, Being a teenager in general, it's difficult. And I don't say that just because I am one, but also because I would like a lot of psychology. I want to study that. So I have seen like articles and videos about how brain changes during these years, like how being a child comes stops being and then you become an adult. And that's a really difficult part because also I was talking this today with my boyfriend. Oh my god, my hand hurts. Okay, so I was talking this with my boyfriend that like all my life has been managed by like my parents, like school, my food, my clothes, were all bought by my parents. Like I didn't have to deal with any of that. And this is like a new chapter in my life when I have to stop. I start thinking about all those things, like what am I going to study. I have to be responsible for myself. Like if my dad is not at home, well, I have to eat lunch. I have to think about that. And it's kind of difficult when you have all your life like people have told you what to do, and like not in a bad way, but in a children are taught what to do all the time because they don't have the capacities. But as we grow, we start having those, and at this moment I am realizing that, and I don't know, I am thinking about that a lot. So apart from all that teenage drama that I totally understand, and having like having your first boyfriend or love interest, having this weird time in life where you don't know where you fit in because you don't fit it with the children and either with the adults. You're in this weird transition part. So I understand like her frustration and all the fights she had with her family. Also because in lockdown, I remember that I couldn't understand my family. Like this sounds really, really bad, but I was like really stressed, like really, really bad mentally. So seeing like the same people all the time, like we couldn't go out, and like not even to buy groceries because we were underage, so we couldn't, my brother and I couldn't go out of the house. So we fought a lot, like my parents, my brother, everyone was fighting a lot because of that constant like being with each other, but being forced to be with each other because it was not by choice. So also in that like is a question about that it's in the document, like what like living all together, it's a really difficult thing. And I think a lot of us experience it during lockdown because I have never thought that being with my family 24/7 for 3 months would stress me so much. Like not seeing any friends. Yes, we have internet, but it's not the same. And I cannot imagine how it would be for her. Like all the friends that she made during her life, and suddenly no more friends. Like, just in your house, they're killing everyone. Whoosh, that sounds awful. But yes, I cannot imagine how that was for her and to all the children there. Also, because teenage years are usually the years where you experiment things. Like my brother and I had like the same with lockdown. We lost 2 years in lockdown. And it was our my 16th and 17th and his 15th and 16th. So it was like the years of parties, of like los quinceañeros and all of that. And I can imagine like being a teenager wanting to experiment your life and you can't go out because they can kill you just because of your religious belief. So I think that's awful. And also not relatable because obviously nothing like that has happened, at least here, or at least to me, but kind of understandable. And all the frustrations that Anne had, that her family had, like the stress that her dad had, the dad of her boyfriend that was so mean to everyone. Also because like that's the personality of people when they are kind of old, but also because being always in constant lockdown and fear of that something bad is going to happen to you or your family must be terrifying. And it's difficult to manage those feelings when you have to protect them and look as the protector, as the man of the family, because you have to put like the face out for your family and be like everything is going to be okay, like wife and kids, like stay calm, but inside you're dying of fear. And that is a really difficult thing to project in a good way when you don't want to be vulnerable with your emotions. So because sadness often is expressed as anger, and it happened to a lot of people in lockdown, that they were so sad that they fought a lot, that they had really bad relationships with their families. And it's not because they hated their families or because they are not a united family. It's because of this state of the mind that you can't do something just because something bad can happen, like in my case, COVID, and in Holocaust, and thing is being killed. So i I really feel bad for Anne, and like for all the Holocaust people, not only the children, but everyone that had to live there, had to experience that. And like this is so minimum compared to what they experienced, because it must be awful to feel like you cannot exist just for what you believe in. Like I know that in this time many LGBTQ people are having that struggle, and black people and people with different ideologies, but it will never get compared to the type of struggle that Jewish people experienced during the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. So yes, thank you for seeing my blog. I don't know how to end this. That's a really sad story.